Losing streaks are inevitable. You just have to learn to deal with them better than the regular amateur retail trader. And this is how you're going to survive the long term. You have to understand that everybody can go through a losing streak, from beginner, amateur to professional traders. Losing is a part of the game. You have to understand this. And if you don't understand this, and you let your egos destroy your emotions and you react negatively because of past trauma, then you're going to go on a tilt and blow your account. So first and foremost, the most important thing that you have to understand is you cannot feel bad about this if you are about to tilt or if you are having a losing streak. You cannot let that dictate your emotions and start feeling bad. Just because you go on a losing streak, it does not mean that you are a bad trader. You have to understand that losses come with the wins, okay? Remember the book, The Best Loser Wins. This is what I'm going to talk about, and I'm going to go deeper and elaborate other ways to look at the situation and understand what is actually happening and how to fix and overcome it, and so that you can come back and recenter better. But the first thing that you need to understand is you cannot feel bad about losing, okay? And the opposite is also true, is that you cannot feel super excited about winning, because that just means that you're not in control of your emotions. You're letting external events dictate the way you react to a situation. So if you win, you're super excited. If you lose, you get super destroyed and super sad. So as a professional trader, you have to be aware of this constantly. And you have to always be recalibrating, whether it's a win or a loss. So the only thing that is working against you is that there is this thing called loss aversion, so that the pain of loss is actually twice as powerful as the joy of winning. So when you start to lose, it feels even worse, and it gets to your ego. You feel like you need to fix it, and then that's where you start to revenge trade. You start to tilt because you're trading from a place of ego. So you need to understand this. First and foremost is you don't want to feel bad and just accept the fact that losses are inevitable. Understand that even the best traders, the hedge fund traders, they also go through losing streaks. The only difference between a seasoned trader and an amateur retail trader is that the seasoned trader understands their emotions. They're more emotionally intelligent and in control, and they just react different to the situation. Whereas a regular retail trader has no awareness of this emotion. They're basically just trading blind, and they're just trading from their emotions. They're just trading from reacting with their ego. And then because of this, this is the big key difference between a professional, consistent trader and an amateur. Both will lose from time to time. That's part of the game. It's normal. So you have to understand that there is a difference between the way people react to the situation, and the way they react is a lot to do with their awareness and their internal state. And because of that, that's going to reflect in their external world, in their trading results. So you have to understand this. You see, when a professional hedge fund manager takes a loss or goes into a losing streak, they have access to psychologists. They have a whole team. So the hedge fund understands how stressful trading can be. So they have a whole department dedicated to trader psychology for their traders. So any one of the traders, when they're having a bad day or a bad week, before they crumble, before they crack, before they tilt and destroy the profits, they they remove themselves from the situation, and they go and see the psychologist. They go and talk to the psychologist, and they get help. It's mental help. And what the psychologist will usually do is reframe their mindset, reframe their emotions, recalibrate them, bring them back, and just remind them of where they are and their edge and the power that they have and what they need to do to come back to the center, instead of going off on this wild tangent like most retail traders that don't have access to a psychologist or any of this sort of mental support. So they don't, like most retail traders, don't have a support network or a system where they can recalibrate their emotions. But the hedge fund guys, they do. And that's how important it is. I mean, they have a whole department dedicated just for helping these guys, because they understand that this is everything. This is the most important thing. Just because psychology, you cannot touch it, see it, or hold on to it. It's not a shiny object like a strategy. Does not mean that it's not important. They understand that the psychology, the mindset of any given trader is more powerful, more important than the strategy itself. The psychology, the subconscious mind, is actually 90% of the entire package. The strategy is only 10%. This is what you have to understand. Okay. So once you understand this, then you can start appreciating what I'm saying and then start working on it. Okay. The way to stop your tilt is to be aware. You have to, first of all, be aware that you're slipping, that you are falling off the horse. Or let's say you go to the gym and then suddenly you stop going, you miss a workout, and then one workout day, you miss one workout day, then you miss two, and then now you miss the whole week. And then the next week it continues, and you suddenly, now you're 3 weeks in and you didn't go to the gym. You've completely destroyed your routine, your momentum with the gym. And now you're eating bad foods. That's the equivalent to a tilt with trading. So you take a loss and then your ego gets hurt, and then you try to fix it, and then you take another loss, and then you just keep digging a hole deeper and deeper out of frustration. And then it's very hard to come back to where you were. So the best way to deal with it is to have self-awareness of what is happening, become aware of it, and then just stop and take a couple of steps back, take a few days back with trading. So you take time off, you stop, and you go and cool off your ego. It's your ego which is making you react in such a way. So you need to go and just blow off some steam somewhere else and recalibrate, because the worst thing you can do is try to fix it on the day or in the same week and try to continue trading. This is the biggest mistake, because your head's not in the game. Your head's not there anymore. You need to go away. You need to maybe go away for the weekend, go stay in go to a pool villa, go to a wood cabin, go hiking, go do something that is just going to completely pattern interrupt your state of mind. Okay. You have to do it, because that's why it's important, for traders to have hobbies or to have a lifestyle, because if you have a lifestyle or things that you're into, so maybe you like racing cars, or you might like, shooting guns, or going to, doing some kind of hobby, or motorbikes, or whatever it is that you're into, that's the thing that's going to pattern interrupt when you go on into a tilt. Instead of just staying in front of the computer and trying to fix everything, you got to cool off. You got to pull back from the situation, pull back and go do something completely different. Okay. And the worst thing that you can do is to suddenly say, to start thinking that you're going to change your strategy just because you're losing. You see, if you start changing your strategy, the only reason you're changing your strategy is because you can't stop trading. You want to fix the situation there and then. And because it's not working, you want to now continue trading, but you're going to come at it from a different approach. You're going to try a different strategy to see if that works, just so that you can be in the market. It's a completely false place to be. You cannot be trading like this. So you don't want to be trading from new strategies. You don't want to be switching strategies. You don't want to be doing anything. The best thing you can do is remove yourself from the market, stop for a few days and go do something completely different. And then go and re-backtest your current strategy and rebuild your confidence and come back and use smaller lots, use a smaller risk. Okay. So risk, downsize your risk and then start rebuilding again. And then once you get your confidence back and you start, winning again, then, that's how you claw your way back to safety. Okay. Instead of going the other way and just making things worse, you gotta take it slow. So that's the main thing that you need to do. I have a section within my course. There's an entire module that we have dedicated just for dealing with revenge trading. So we can go in and we can, when you start losing and you start feeling like you have this revenge trade urge, like you want to get back at the market. So we have a full module in there that goes in and it taps out all of the emotions and basically it brings you back to your center. It helps you recalibrate and reminds you of what's important and let go of the past. It'll be able to help you let go of your ego and your past and also just to be okay with the loss and accept it and move on and wait patiently and move on to the next setup when it presents yourself. So we have a full module for that within the course. If that's something you want to look into, then that's the first link in the description. But basically, it's like having your own psychologist at hand, because a lot of retail traders, obviously, we're not sitting in some office with access to some psychologist that's, charging $1,000 an hour for their time or whatever, or it's completely paid for by the company. A lot of us are on our own and we need a system to be able to come back and deal with these situations, these negative situations, negative emotions. We have to know how to deal with it when they happen there and then. And that's what basically the course that I have is all about. We have many modules, but the one in particular is how to stop the revenge trading. And this is going to help a lot of you guys. So that's the one that gets the most views within the course. Most of my students, say that this is the one that they come back to all the time, because you're always going to have a loss. Okay. And it's just how you deal with it. So the better you learn to take losses and deal with it over time, then you start rewiring and reprogramming your mind to deal with the loss better. And then eventually the loss doesn't bother you. It does not have an effect on you. And then you can take a loss and be okay with it. And instead of tilting, you just accept the loss and come back the next day. And that's the kind of energy, the kind of place you want to be trading from. That's how you stay empowered and in control. Okay. So you need a system to be able to recalibrate. This is the most important thing, because if you don't, you're going to go and tilt. Okay. And then you blow your account and then it's game over. You got to start again. And then, you repeat the cycle. And then because the pattern is still there, the negative pattern, the negative emotion or the negative programming is still there. It's going to happen again in the future. So you're always going to be in this failure loop. So you have to be able to break the pattern and get out of it. So when you take a loss, just don't feel bad. It's like how every now and then, every cowboy will fall off the horse. The thing is, the ones that survive are the ones that know how to get back on the horse. Do you understand? So it's the same. If you take a loss, you have to know how to get back to trading from a place that is correct, not reacting in a negative way and then going on a tilt. And it's the same with going to the gym. If you stop going to the gym for a week, that's like you broke your pattern, right? Now you're building a negative pattern, and like you have to be able to stop it. You have to put on the handbrake, right? You have to put the brakes on it, slam the brakes on it and stop the negative pattern. Okay. And then all of it just comes down to awareness. A lot of these guys, that continue to screw up and fail is because they're not aware of it, and they're not emotionally stable or intelligent enough emotionally or aware enough to deal with the situation, and then they just go boom, they just continue tilting, they fall off the horse, they don't have the willpower to get back on, or they can't swim back to safety. So you have to understand this, that you don't want to feel bad if you take a loss. Understand that it happens to everybody, even the guys that are sitting at, $1 billion hedge fund. Even they have bad days, okay? Everybody has a bad day. Everybody has a bad week. Everybody goes through a losing streak. It all comes down to how you deal with the situation. So that's what I wanted to tell you for this lesson in this video. If you're new to my channel, go ahead, like and subscribe. Drop your comments below. Let me know what you're dealing with. And until the next video, you're on your own. Take care now. Bye.